Welcome to the Practice Playbook podcast, your go-to resource for legal professionals, mediators, and entrepreneurial experts building modern, profitable, and purpose-driven businesses. I'm your host, Susan Guthrie, attorney, mediator, and #1 best-selling author with over 35 years of experience. I'm a former chair of the ABA section of dispute resolution, and I've helped thousands of professionals build practices they love through my books, coaching, and training programs. Each week, I'll bring you real-world strategies, mindset shifts, and behind-the-scenes insights to help you grow with clarity, confidence, and impact. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Practice Playbook podcast. I'm Susan Guthrie, your host, and today I'm going to dive into one of my favorite year-end rituals for every practitioner who wants more clarity, more revenue, and more ease in their business. It's time for your profit checkup. It's now November. It's getting close to the holiday season, which means something very important for your practice. Not just that you get to take a break from it, but you get to start getting ready for next year. There's something very powerful about the closing of one year and the starting of a new year. And for most entrepreneurs and businesses, January is pricing season. Everyone reviews their rates in January, and that's attorneys, mediators, coaches, professionals of every kind. But the best pricing decisions are never made in January. They are made now while you still have time to reflect, assess, and prepare. So in today's episode, I'm going to walk you through the same profit checkup that I use in my own business and that I teach inside both the Flat Fee Playbook and when I work individually with coaching clients. This checkup will help you understand what worked for your business in 2025, what held you back, and how you can build a pricing strategy that positions you for a strong and profitable 2026. So let's get started. Why is November the perfect time for a profit checkup? Well, every January, professionals scramble to update their pricing, or worse, they don't update it at all because they've done no prep work. I know because I hear from a lot of new clients, a lot of people reach out in January, new year, fresh start, and they almost always say something along the lines of, I know I should raise my prices, but I feel unsure. I thought about it. I meant to do this earlier, but time got away from me, and I actually haven't raised my prices in a few years. By then, it's almost too late. The calendar is filled up for the new year rush begins, and people just stick with their old pricing simply because it's easier, and it is. Staying in the same place, definitely easier. Better? I doubt that it is better. So as you sit here in November, it's a different story. November is your strategic window. You have almost a full year of data. Your busy season has shifted. Some of you may be busy now, but many of you, your business is going to start slowing down as we enter into Thanksgiving and then the December holidays and the year-end hoopla, right? So it gives you an ability to gain perspective and the gift of some space to think clearly. So the checkup will let you walk into January with confidence instead of panic or just a failure to have a plan. One quick note, I want you to know you do not have to take notes because I'm going to share a lot of you should do this and here's the next step in this episode because this is sort of my profit checkup plan. You don't have to take notes as you listen. I've prepared a year-end profitability worksheet that you can download. Just visit the show notes for the link. All right, so the first step 1 of your profit checkup, you want to evaluate your current pricing. Start with the foundation and look honestly at your current pricing. And you're going to, in order to look at it honestly, you're going to ask yourself 3 questions. First, is my pricing aligned with my true market? What do I mean by that? Many practitioners set their pricing too low because they fear that raising rates will scare clients away. But professionals grow, experience grows, skills grow, and your pricing should grow with you. If you have not adjusted your fees in over a year, then there is a very good chance that you are underpriced. Second, how is your pricing performing in real conversations? And this will tell you everything. When you talk about it with clients, do they ever sound surprised about your pricing? Do they hesitate? Do you find yourself constantly negotiating or having to explain too much? And do you discount more often than you want to admit? These are signals that tell you whether your pricing matches the value you communicate, right? You communicate, and we'll talk more about that. Third question, does your pricing structure support your best work? And this is, I know I'm a broken record, but hourly billing creates strain for many professionals. Not because the work is hard, but because the billing system drains them. There's the constant tracking, the scope creep, emotional fatigue, clients feeling anxious every time the clock runs. This is where flat fees, modified flat fees, flat fee structures, or strategic pricing enter the conversation. And this is exactly why I wrote the Flat Fee Playbook and why it was the very first book in my playbook series. Flat fees are not just about simplifying your business. They are about aligning your work with your energy, values, and client experience. So walk through those 3 questions. Again, they're on the worksheet when you go download it. And then move into step 2 of this profit checkup, right? You're going to now analyze your profit margins and your real capacity. We're going to analyze what I call your real numbers, not the numbers you bill, the numbers you actually keep. So first you start by identifying what you truly earned per matter or service. Take one matter. Calculate the total hours you spent. Include intake, follow-up, prep time, email exchanges, admin work, invoicing, and session work. And then look at what the client paid. That number is your effective hourly rate. And I'll tell you, most of my clients are shocked at what they find. It's a very valuable exercise. Yes, I know it's going to take some time. It's a very valuable exercise. Next, I want you to examine your service mix. And this means looking at what you earned per different type of service that you offer so that you can determine which services were profitable, which services drained you. And that may be financially, it may be emotionally, it may be both. Which brought in your best clients? And which of those services no longer fits your goals? Your business cannot grow if you keep offering services that no longer serve you. And then finally, I want you to identify your capacity bottlenecks. What are the things that are slowing you down, taking more time than they need to? Is it your intake process? Is it too slow? Is your schedule overloaded? Are you spending too much time on administrative work? And is there a system in your process that consistently breaks down or doesn't work well? This analysis is essential if you plan to move into a flat fee or value-based pricing scheme. A good flat fee is built on real data about how long your services take and where your bottlenecks live. So you're going to want to take the time, download the worksheet, but you want to take the time to walk through the analysis. And then you'll move to step 3 of the profit checkup. You're going to start looking at what your pricing direction will be for 2026. And by the way, this is repeatable. You can do it in November of 2026 for January of 2027 and onward. Once you have evaluated your numbers, right? So you've done all the work that's above and you've evaluated all those numbers, it's time to decide what pricing changes you will make for the next year. First, is it time to raise your prices? Here are the signs that it is. You are over capacity. It sounds like a good problem to have. It's not, right? It's not necessarily a good problem to have. So are you over capacity? Here's another one to think about. Are you attracting clients who are not the right fit? You're taking work that doesn't really fit in with what you want to be doing. In this past year, have you gained significant experience or training? Have you moved forward in your skill set? Here's another very important one that so many people do not take into consideration, and we are in a very fast-paced work environment these days. Has your market evolved? Has it changed? I can tell you one big stressor on the market right now, or one big change agent, is the addition and integration of artificial technology, artificial intelligence, right? That's not just in your business, that's in your client's business. And the fact, as I've been talking about, that it has now become the basis for a lot of new work because it's leading to legal issues arising in all different areas. In fact, I'm doing a series in the Practice Building Tip of the Day newsletter on LinkedIn that is going and examining different areas of law and how AI is affecting those areas of law for the legal and mediation practitioners, right? What lawyers and mediators need to know and arbitrators need to know about those areas. Just did one on health law. I have one coming up on employment law. I'm going to cover a lot of different legal areas. And it's not about how you can use AI in your practice. It's how about AI is affecting all of those areas of law legally. I'll put a link to the Practice Building Tip of the Day and the health law one. You'll be able to go and find all of them from there if you want to read those. But so look at the fact as whether or not your market has evolved. Are there new areas? Another thing to look at, and it goes back to the emotional, but do you feel resentment or fatigue when delivering a service? I remember those cases back from the day when you saw a certain type of case on your calendar and it just drained the energy before you even walked in the room. So realize that pricing is a leadership decision. Whether you're the only worker in your business or not, you're the leader, and pricing is a leadership decision. It signals confidence, clarity, which is what you're gaining here, and a commitment to high value work, high value for the clients and high value for you. Second, and next, I want you to consider which services may be ready to transition to flat fees or alternative fee structures, right? Flat fees work beautifully for predictable processes. So things like mediation packages, document drafting, consultation bundles, limited scope services, a parenting plan mediation, coaching packages. I mean, I could go on with this all day. There's a whole section in the Flat Fee Playbook on different types of services that are really well suited to flat fees or alternative fee structures. But understand that these flat fees reduce friction for clients. and create consistency for you. They eliminate billing conflict. This is a huge area of conflict between clients and professionals. They align incentives. People do not like how they feel when they are billed hourly. They do not like it. We know that. I'm not saying anything you do not already know. So when you're able to transition to a value-based fee structure, it makes your business far more predictable and appealing to your clients. Next, you're going to reevaluate how you present and position your services. And this is the missing link in all of this, because when you change your services and you change how you bill, so often you just do it with no explanation, with no pitch to the clients as to why this is a positive thing. So sometimes the pricing itself is fine. You just price it and that will work. But the problem for most practitioners is how the service is described, or that there's a lack of clarity or a description of the service that hides the real value. This is the moment to refine your signature services and retire your outdated offerings, and make sure that your descriptions are positioned to best sell the value that you are offering. The next step of the profit checkbook is to prepare your systems for your 2026 pricing, because the pricing change is not complete until your systems reflect it. I talk a lot about how important systems are. They're critically important. They don't stay static. You make a change in the business, the systems all have to change. So here's a small list of, once you know what your new pricing will be, what you will need to alter within your systems. Update your website. And that's updating both your pricing, but also the service descriptions. Go back to step 3, the service descriptions, right? Revise your intake script. Again, it won't just be what your pricing is, but it will be the value-based pricing structure that you have and what that value is. You're going to update all of your email templates. Revise your booking links and your scheduling tools, especially if you're like me and people pay for a session at the time they book it. You'll update your engagement letters and update any scripts your assistant or your intake team use, and talk with them about the change in value and how things are being marketed and described and how value is important. And most important, train them to speak confidently about your pricing, because when your team hesitates, clients will hesitate. When your team is aligned and they feel like they're behind this pricing and the value that you all bring to the table as a team, your clients feel at ease with it. I can't tell you how important this is. So here's an example I want to give you about how my consultations changed a bit after I integrated flat fee pricing and packages into my mediation practice. You all know I was a divorce mediator, and I had different divorce mediation packages depending on what they needed, right? Did they have children? Was it a divorce? Was it a separation? Was it a parenting plan? What were the different things? But I worked on a modified flat fee where I had taken all of the things that I could know up front were going to need to be done. And in my particular case, it was the emailing, the scheduling, the filing of the papers, the drafting of the papers, the preparation, etc., the drafting of the MOU at the end, follow up, all of that kind of thing. And I put a flat fee on that. And there are 2 ways I tried this. One, I could also add in a certain number of hours of mediation into that. So, for example, I have colleagues who would add in 3 2-hour sessions, and that would be included. Or you could just go based on, as you have sessions, we'll bill for those sessions and go forward. So it was a modified flat fee. As much as we could, we made certain. But here's how I changed things. When I spoke to people in the consultation, I explained to them why the flat fee or the modified flat fee was helpful to them. I would explain that, look, I know going into divorce, which is a stressful time anyway, and that you know that financially this is going to be a drain on your family, and not having clarity on what the cost is can add to that stress. So we have done what we can to give you certainty around as much of that number as possible. So we work off an upfront flat fee for as much as we have within our control. And it includes all of this. And then we had a nice long list of all of the things that were included. And if it included the 3 sessions or the 5 sessions or whatever that felt like. So what we don't know and don't have control over, and you have more control over this than your mediator does, is how many sessions or how many hours you are going to need. Couples who show up ready to mediate, having done the homework, having done the preparation, have put in thought in between sessions, and are able to move forward in making agreements, will move through this process more quickly and therefore have more control over how many sessions. Those who just come piecemeal, don't want to think about this except in session, it's going to take longer. Some people have more complex cases, some people have less complex cases. So those are paid for on a rolling basis, but you pay for them as you go. And to that extent, we've given you as much control over the process as possible. That was a hugely compelling description of my modified flat fee packages. Rarely did I find a client who was not motivated by having as much control over their pricing as possible. So it is extremely important that your messaging and pricing match. If your pricing increases, but your marketing still positions you at your old level, you create the disconnect. Your pricing should feel expected, not surprising. It should feel that it is suited to the client and supportive of their process, not working against them as an hourly structure does. That's how they see it. All right, next part is the emotional side, and don't think there isn't one, the emotional side of pricing decisions. Let's talk about the part no one wants to admit, because pricing brings up fear. We as professionals do not like fear. We're in fact paid to not be fearful in many cases, not to be vulnerable, to know all things, especially my attorneys out there, the all-knowing, all-seeing, all-answer-filled attorneys. But what is the fear? It's a fear of losing clients. It's a fear of looking arrogant. It's a fear of charging more than colleagues. Or simply a fear of not being ready to make that change. And here's the truth, and this is from my decades of experience, right? I've been at this for 35 years. Professionals rarely lose clients when they raise their prices. More often, they attract better clients. And what are better clients? Well, clients who value the work, clients who respect the process, and clients who commit. Pricing is not just a number. Pricing is leadership. All right, so before I wrap up, I want to mention a couple of things. First up, my business planning playbook is coming soon, within the next few weeks. On its way, I'm just putting the final touches on it. And it is the most comprehensive framework I have ever created for building a real functional business plan that you use throughout the year. And again, we are at the end of the year, so I want to get this out soon so that those of you who want to start the new year with a fresh business plan or a refreshed business plan for those of you that have them, it's going to be ready to go for you. And pricing strategy, profit analysis are major components of that plan, as they are also a part of the Flat Fee Playbook, which is available now. And I'll have a link for that in the show notes for you. You can just go to susaneguthrie.com to get it. I'll share more when it's ready to launch, but I wanted to let you know that it's coming soon so you can start laying the groundwork now and getting your mindset ready to have a plan. Because as Benjamin Franklin famously said, when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So let's wrap it up with today's golden nuggets. First off, your pricing should evolve with your expertise. Each year that you practice, you become better and better at what you do. Number 2, flat fees or value-based pricing removes friction and supports better client experiences. And real profitability requires clarity about where your time and energy go. You need to do this review. It's a wonderful thing to build in November, because November is your strategic window. Right before all those holidays hit and the turkey and festivities and the parties and year-end frivolity take our minds away from us. This is a wonderful time, a strategic time to put some time in. So your 2026 revenue begins with the decisions you make today. You have a lot of control about how your next year is going to go. And don't forget, if you want a worksheet that walks you step by step through this profitability checkup, I created a free download you can grab. The link is in the show notes. Thank you all for joining me today for this profitability checkup. And if the Flat Fee Playbook has been on your radar, it is the perfect companion to what I covered today. It's going to help you calculate, structure, and confidently present flat fees that work for you and your clients. And it's short, guys. The playbooks were not intended to sit down and be textbooks. I wanted them to be quick with actionable, real takeaways on how you walk through and do what you need to do to set flat fees, value-based fees, all right? So each one of the playbooks, the other playbook that's out right now is the Thought Leadership Playbook, which is also doing really well because it walks you through and has worksheets for every single chapter that you can do that will walk you through how you establish your thought leadership, which is a huge part of your marketing, and how you can establish trust and get better clients. So check them out. Share this episode with a colleague who needs a pricing refresh. You never know. It may be the nudge they need. And I'll see you all the next time on the Practice Playbook podcast. Wishing you all a very happy Thanksgiving and a wonderful holiday season with family and friends and colleagues. Thanks so much for listening to the Practice Playbook podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, I would love it if you'd take a moment to leave a review, follow the show, or share it with a colleague who's ready to build the practice of their dreams. If you want more support and tools like the ones you heard today, join the waitlist for the Practice Accelerator, my brand new subscription program packed with resources to help you grow smarter. You can find the link in the show notes or visit susaneguthrie.com to learn more. Until next time, stay focused, stay intentional, and remember, success starts with the right playbook.